Hey guys, you're listening to the English Made Simple show. This is episode number 298, number 298, número 298. Welcome back, amigos y amigas. Welcome back. This is your host, Milena, speaking. You're tuning in to the English Made Simple show. You can learn more about the EMS show and what it is all about when you visit englishmadesimple.net. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Today, you're going to hear two different voices. One of them will be mine, okay? Yes, you will hear two different voices. They are not completely different. The voices you'll hear today are quite similar. You're going to hear my voice and the voice of my twin sister, Jovana, and we sound similar, okay? My sister Jovana joined me last week for a brief interview session where I asked her to recount the story of how she founded her company called Bumper Leads. And I mentioned this in the last episode 297. Just in the previous episode, I briefly mentioned about Jovana and that I'm planning to bring her on. I've heard this story before from Jovana, but I really think you guys should hear it too. Maybe it inspires you to dream big. Maybe it inspires you to have big, hairy, audacious goals. There will be a lot of words that you may not have heard before in today's episode when Jovana starts to explain about what she does. I wrote some of these words down as she was speaking, so I'll cover them in the upcoming episodes. So this episode is on a longer side, about 20 minutes, so I hope you can follow it. We do start off the interview by giggling and laughing, and that's normal for us. Get used to that, because I might bring her back again, all right? So enough from me. Let's begin the interview with Jovana now. Have a listen to it twice if you need to. You'll hear some new words in today's interview. Welcome, Jovana. Welcome to the EMS show. How's everything going?
Oh, thank you. I am so delighted to be here with you today.
We are so excited to have you here. Now, I did mention I'm going to bring you on to today's episode. I mentioned it in my last episode, which was episode 297, and I said I'm going to bring my twin sister back to the EMS show. And I've just realized before you got on that we've actually had an episode together back in October, 31st of October. We've actually done an episode together for EMS, but it's been actually quite a long time, 5 years ago, 2017. Now, is that about time when you started Bumper Leads?
I think so. I started Bumper Leads, my business, officially as a self-employed, we call it in Australia, sole trader, independent contractor. And started that in 2016, but I wasn't really focusing on it. I think I had a mentor at the time, someone who was coaching me through the whole process of running my business, but also learning about the marketing automation skills that I needed to learn. Need to learn what I needed to sell.
But before that, maybe we should go back a little bit before Bumper Leads. Because you didn't wake up one day, I'm going to start Bumper Leads.
Well, you know, Milena, you and I grew up when we were kids. I remember our first business idea we had, which was when we were 10 years old. We decided to make some money during summer, and we wanted to sell our posters. Back then in the 90s, you could buy a magazine and you have your favorite bands. And I think we were listening to Vanilla Ice at the time.
Don't say that, because my listeners know I like Metallica. We never listen.
Oh no, this is before Metallica days. Vanilla ice, I remember because it was so random the day we decided to do this because we wanted to buy ice cream. It was such a hot day and we wanted to have ice cream and we didn't have the cash. So we put the posters out onto our fence, and we live in the middle of nowhere pretty much. It's not a busy strip, and some little boy came on a bike. He was cycling through the area and he saw Vanilla Ice poster and he said, "Oh my God, this is exactly what I want. How much?" It was, I don't know, 50 cents. And he bought it. We took 50 cents and we went to buy ice cream, which was 25 cents each at the time. So that was the first experience of having a real business. We didn't know what we were doing.
So this is when you've had your entrepreneurial mindset start to develop around 10.
Yes. Oh.
And what happened after that? I mean, we don't have to go every year by year, what you were doing.
No, we don't. But that's not how Bumper Lead started, of course. I've been working in the corporate world, so going to university, finishing a degree in business, and then looking for a job as a young business graduate. I ended up learning a lot about procurement and supply chain. Procurement and supply chain, it's almost like, just to explain to listeners, purchasing, buying. If you're in that position, you can imagine yourself being in a retail shop. Anyone that has all the products on the shelf, I was responsible for bringing those products to the store. So that was the beginning of my procurement career, and I spent 12 years working for very big companies where I learned all the skills around negotiations, also dealing with different companies, managing very large portfolios of spend. We call it large portfolios of expenditure. Some were even $300 million. And being responsible for up to $1 billion spend for various different categories. And during that time, I was really bored. I imagine that. And that's when I started to discover ways, well, there must be something better outside of my 9 to 5. And I started to investigate options. I even started to create a diary, a journal of business ideas that come to me every day. So I remember one of the ideas that came around was Bumper Leads, and that was, I actually have the book with me. So I would recommend if you're listening and you want to start a business, a really, really good thing to do is to keep a journal of your ideas and just write down, number one, this is the business name or the business idea, and just write it down. And now I have like 80, it's still going. There's always an idea. And Bumper Leads was number 52. And I remember driving to work, and that was in 2014 or 15, I think. 15. And I'm talking to you, and you're in Chile, Santiago in Chile.
Yes, I remember.
And I'm like, this is the idea I have. I'm really excited about it. And how do I get started? I'm stuck on the name. And this is what I'm imagining. And we were brainstorming the name. And because I was stuck in traffic and we were going bumper to bumper, I thought, well, that sounds like a great name, Bumper. And because we specialize in lead generation, that's where the name Bumper Leads came about. And so that's when the idea was born, but it took a year to actually start doing something. Look, I never really took action. And once I decided to take action, that was after maybe a year after that idea brainstorm. So you kind of need to develop the ideas in your head. Once you feel comfortable with it, you start. And so I started in 2016. and the business is now employing 4 or 5 staff. We have a few subcontractors. We specialize in marketing automation, and it sounds very fancy. It's a very new function of digital marketing. Digital marketing is, if you think about receiving ads on your Facebook, on your TikTok, Instagram, that's digital marketing. What we do is we don't control all the ads. We don't create websites. What we do is we specialize in optimizing your customer journey experience online.
Excellent. Wow. That sounds really good. Before we get stuck in talking about bumper leads a bit more, something came to my mind as you were explaining about you were taking action. So you thought of a name for the business, bumper leads, but then you said, and then I had, it's been a year since I've taken action. Can you maybe say what that action was? I just want to ensure that my listeners who are out there thinking, I'd like to start a business one day, or they're just thinking about it, but they're not sure what step to take.
Yes, you would have to research more about the idea that you have, but also, thinking about all the technicalities, or we call it admin side of the business, registering the business. Do you want to register your business as a subcontractor, what we call in Australia sole trader? That may be different for other countries. Or do you want to become a company? Deciding what structure of the business. You need to speak to accountants to do that.
Now, that's really good to know. I think it depends on where people are, which country they're living in, and because every country has certain tax laws and the way you can register a company. I think you mentioned that just now. But what made you go into marketing automation? I mean, yes, you had this idea, Bumper Leads was born, it's all in your head, but, you didn't have the skills to start marketing automation back then. So what was that first step you took to start getting the skill of marketing automation?
Oh, yes. The skills. So long ago, I forget that I didn't know. I did have a skill, I have to say, before with an earlier business venture, learning about sales funnels. But I understand the complexity and the nature of marketing automation. It's quite, you have to be almost a developer. You have to love technology to enjoy it. You have to be a systems thinker. You have to enjoy processes. You have to enjoy analyzing numbers. You have to enjoy working with people and having customer service skills and sales. You have to learn how to sell. So all of those skills are important if you want to be self-employed. But now learning marketing automation was something that is obviously missing because I've never offered, at that time, I've never offered my services or that skill set as a service to other businesses. So I hired...
And it was quite new.
Yeah, it's very new. Marketing automation discipline is very new. And I ended up just doing a cold outreach of researching a mentor in that field. And a mentor who has worked as a general manager of marketing automation for very large American US-based companies that are very popular in the digital marketing space. And he's not a famous person. I just went on LinkedIn and I was looking at job titles and I found this person that I connected and resonated through whatever they were posting or on their personal profile. And I decided to send them a message and ask them to teach me what they know.
Excellent. I really, really love that because a lot of people don't think about approaching people online. They don't think about approaching mentors, or maybe they're a bit shy to approach them. Did it take you long to reach out to your mentor?
No, actually, I took action. Like I said, you need to take action. Ideas, when you have an idea, it's, as they say, ideas are free. It's only when you start to take action that they pay dividends, they pay money. So you have to take action on that idea. And if I hesitated at that moment, then I would not have. It only took probably 5 seconds of my time. And this could also be as the result of my experience in my procurement job is I have to go and do outreach with other suppliers or contractors and vendors to start conversations from cold, from nothing. So because you don't have a relationship with that company, you have to start to find people who sit in the right positions that you want to talk to. And LinkedIn was the best. And that's where my experience came in and help find the right mentor. And to my surprise, this person replied straight away. When I say straight away, it's within the 24 hours. There was a time zone difference. They were based in US and I was in Australia.
I think this actually ties it well to what my next point was going to be about the show. And the reason why I brought you on today. Yes, we talk a little bit about your journey and bumper leads, but I want something else for my listeners to take away is now talking about reaching out to your mentor, and maybe you were writing emails or messages. I've covered I had a couple of episodes where we talked about how to start an email, how to end an email. Maybe just so that we tie it all together, if you can maybe share an example with us, how you would how will you start an email to your mentor? What would you say? Someone you've never met before. They haven't heard of you. What would be something that you would say as the first line? Just the first line of text is enough.
Oh, okay, that's good. Now I have to think because it's been ages ago. Well, in Australia, we can greet strangers regardless of what position they are. They might be in the admin job or CEO job. We still say hi. That's a greeting that we use. Hi, first name. I came across your profile on LinkedIn and I love what you do. Full stop. This is exactly what I am looking to do in my personal career, and I am wondering whether you can help me achieve that.
Excellent.
Would you be interested in talking to me about mentorship? I would like to hire you as a mentor, even just being direct. I don't want to waste time. Time is actually wasn't on my side at the time when I started because I didn't have a job. I ended up leaving my company and I really wanted to focus on this idea that I had, which was bumper leads.
So you wanted to take action straight away, reach out to this mentor that you found online. Maybe it wasn't an email, but it was a LinkedIn message. And whenever you write a LinkedIn message, you don't have to be too formal. It's a social platform, so you can say hi James or hi Jovana, and then you just state. You can keep it simple. You don't have to go into a long text, or you don't have to go into a long email. Why you need it? Why you would like to meet with them? But as long as there's some benefit or something that you can state in that message,
the objective is just to get a reply. It was whether it's a yes, no, maybe just a reply, just to know that he's alive. He got my message. That was the first step.
That's right. And since that day, I guess, when you reached out to him and he replied to you, could you say that your life has changed? I know it sounds a bit, dramatic or huge, but
well, the funny thing how the universe works, I believe in the spiritual kind of world, in universe bringing people together. I actually gave him an idea. He was kind of thinking about it because he had an inkling, is there a word, English word? Inkling to start something himself in this arena. And because I suggested mentorship and I wanted to hire him as a mentor, he's like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. to develop my idea. And so he quickly replied and he said, that's very interesting. I've been thinking about doing this. Can you hold on a sec? I'll get back to you within a few weeks. And he was honest. And so the first step, within a couple of weeks, he came back and he said he would love to talk to me. So we booked a Zoom call. And that's when I met him, and he's discussed his idea with me and how much it was going to cost and how much time it's going to be and how that's going to look, and that this is going to be a pilot program, which is an early kind of launch of an idea. A pilot program that I am going to be part of, and there's only going to be myself and there's another person as well. So there's two people. And we got started within a month. And that was the best thing I've done, I have to say. It was very hands-on. He was hands-on. We had numerous Zoom calls. As I am creating my website, my offering, my also learning automations, I'm getting clients who need help with integrating different systems and softwares where I didn't have experience to do any of that. I would just email him and have a quick Zoom session saying, how do I connect this WooCommerce store with this software? And then we have a demo online, and he's teaching me how to put a tag or create a custom field or a form, like really basic things that if I had to teach somebody now myself, I don't think I would have the patience to do this.
Yeah. So it was quite basic, but at least you've taken the decision. You had to invest a little bit of money, but it was worth it.
It paid itself off, I would say, within one client. And the experience and the lifelong friendship and experience I have created through that. This is my new career. And after doing it for such a long time, I can do this with my eyes closed.
So you've got new skills. Yeah.
New skills. So I'd never actually had a plan B. I never imagined myself thinking, if this doesn't work, I am going to go back to my full-time job. No, it was not an option. But now I don't have to go back to my full-time job. I can go and start another job or start another career. Or I can also help other businesses in different ways. I can be consulting in various different ways because now I had experience working with e-commerce, with SaaS, with B2B agencies. There's a lot of experience now, and it's very easy to replicate and learn what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, because there are elements of your job that you may not like. So you can now be more informed about your career choices.
So that's been 5 years now, 6 or 5 years that you were in Bumper Leads since you started Bumper Leads. So that's amazing. And it's still going strong. It's still growing.
Well, in my first year, we traveled. That's what I forgot to mention. The idea, as I was germinating the idea in my head, it needed to allow me to have a lifestyle that is away from my desk, away from a head office or a office, really. And so the first thing we did was my husband decided to quit his job, and he said, I'm going to learn what you know, and we're going to travel the world. So that was scary. That was quite scary. I've never thought, but that was exciting at the same time, scary and exciting, because now we have this new experience, and we would book to travel. I think within 3 months after learning everything, we booked our first trip. We went to Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Turkey, Romania, Serbia. Even then, I got a call to speak at a conference in Chicago and New York, and then come back home, and then went to New Zealand as well. So there was quite a lot of traveling in 1 year, and the business was growing.
And you also, now that you mentioned Chicago in the US, you've also met your mentor face to face.
Oh, yes. Yes. It's interesting. When I started to work with him, he gave me a sheet where you write your goals and milestones, what you want to achieve, your objective. And one of them was to meet him in person and have a coffee in Chicago. And that's what I did within a year. When you achieve your goal, you don't really think this is what I imagined a year ago. But it was amazing feeling. You get to, and then you look at your goals back, you reflect what you wrote, and it was just an exciting feeling to achieve something. But it doesn't hit you. You don't have when you watch movies and films, and when people dream and they see the dream, it's a reality now, and you can see it with them. You don't get to see that kind of experience. It just happens to you, and you accept it, and it's like normal thing. Like, why were you crazy thinking this is impossible when it just happened?
When it happens, you see it's possible. Yeah. Thank you, Jovana. That was really great. I'm just conscious of your time. I know you're busy. What we can take away from this conversation is that people who are listening right now, whatever you're thinking of doing, whether starting a business or starting a new school or starting something new, the point is just take action. Take action, because there's going to be a reaction after that action, if you know what I mean. So after Jovana took action to reach out to her mentor, he replied, and from then on, her life hasn't been the same, I guess we could say it that way.
Well, yes, if you are thinking of not even just career-wise, it may be you want to travel or you want to see a country you haven't been to. Maybe this is why you're learning English, because you want to travel. It's just about taking action. You tuning into this podcast is you taking action, right?
That's right. Perfect. So I think what we're going to do, I might bring Jovana back onto the show for another time, because this has been fun, and I think there's a lot that Jovana can share with us, and she can give us some more examples about how she communicates with clients and how she communicates with her team members. Because a lot of listeners that are listening to the EMS show, as I found out recently, they're all professionals. They are either business owners, they're thinking of starting their business, or they're working in kind of managerial positions. So I understand that these are the listeners who are really going to benefit from listening to Jovana, sharing her experience, and we can continue this conversation then. I'm not going to go into too much detail today, but I just thought this is quite valuable for my listeners to hear from you, and I would love to have you back if you'd like to come back.
Of course, I will come back. I am your sister. I can't run away.
That's right. I'll find you. I know where you live.
Yeah. We live in a different state. Huh?
Yeah, I can still buy a ticket and find you. Don't worry about that.
8 hours flying. No, 8 hours driving. Sorry, 1 hour flight. That's right.
Okay, well, thank you, Jovana. I've taken some notes.
Great. I've enjoyed talking with you, and I look forward to catching up with you all next time.
Awesome. Thank you.